we are holed up in Kincardine for a few days because of this storm. Maybe you can see all the white caps out there. You don't want to be out on that lake. And also, you really don't want to be in our slip in this harbor. We're a transient boat, so they give us the transient slip, and it's the most exposed one. You can see the surge coming into the harbor, and you can see it going along, you know, the dock there. It's actually not as bad as it was last night. It was pretty bad in here, and I hadn't quite got the boat tied quite right, although she came through. So here's what's really terrible about this slip. One, there's no piling off my port quarter that I could use to help secure this, to help tie the boat against the effect of the wind, which is pushing us into the slip. Okay, it's pushing us into the slip, and you know, so we do have a piling on this side. So my approach here was redundancy, and I'll just go from the stern to the front of the boat. You'll see like both what I've done and why this is such a terrible slip. So I've got, depending on how you want to count, I've got as many as 6 lines back here, you know, holding the boat in position. That spring line that was just tense there. Okay, you got 2 stern lines, really, one on a cleat and one on coming back and on the winch. So you've got two means of support, points of support for a line that's going to get a lot of shock. I used to have this line, this old piece of polyester on board, but it didn't have enough give. So I retained that as just an extra kind of a harness around the whole thing. So, and then I've got another stern line that goes to the opposite cleat to give it some length, because this takes a lot of stress when the boat tries to move off the dock. Okay, so let's go forward. We got bumpers out. Okay. Now I also have this spring line that comes forward, and I've actually got 2 forward spring lines, or back spring lines, depending on how you term it, to prevent the boat from moving forward. So I've got one up there tied at the bow, that white one, and then this blue one tied midships, and then coming back to there. And I've got bumpers out as well, because again the wind is really trying to blow me more or less into the dock now. So, all right. And then I have a counter spring, this short line here, which was just convenient because it was left over and I could use it for another line. Now, why this place really sucks. So, yeah, there's rocks up there, and then there's this ramp coming down to this commercial fishing boat, which obstructs access to the bollard cleat there, and really there's no real things to tie to, so I chose the base of those stanchions. Now the dock boy initially tied my bow lines to the top rail of the walkway, and I started seeing right away why that was a bad idea, right? So tie it to the base. If you're going to do some improvised tie-up, tie to the base of, say, a railing, because it's stronger there. I mean, it's kind of obvious in hindsight. So yeah, I put this blue line out last night, and I've tightened it several times since I put it out. And that's just the one starboard bow line. Again, improvised tie up to a cleat that doesn't exist. Because there is that bollard cleat, I ran this extra line, but it doesn't seem to be doing a lot to help. But it will keep the boat in the slips should it surge backward for some reason. And then just this morning, I took my slip bow bridle line and I ran it from that midships cleat out to that cleat on the corner, which I didn't notice until today. So last night we were in here with this, and things were adjusted differently. The boat was actually more up against the dock over here. But this morning we added the bridle line. Basically, once I discovered that there was a cleat there. So this gives us some good support. So there's, I think there's nine distinct lines, or 10, depending on how you count the mess back there, to keep us secure in this trying time. I tore my sail cover off. Look at that! It just ripped right up. It just tore the zipper off. This wind. My halyard, so that's good. So that's the tie-up. Oh, and also the finger pier, that's really janky. You walk on it and you're afraid you're going to fall off. It wobbles around so much. So this is a lovely place, but if you come to Kincardine, make sure they do not give you, well, E23, especially if something's coming out of the northwest that you don't want to deal with. Anyway, and the other boats here are having a fun time too. This CNC 38 has been hopping around a bit. There's a brave little Grampian just on the other side that also came in the same day we did, but their owners seem to have left, and they're not very well secured to the dock, but it seems to be holding its own. So yeah, you can kind of see the masts moving around here, but my boat is moving the most. So this is the kind of motion she has now with what I've got set up here. So I'm thinking actually I need to take up the slack on that breast. I'll just call it the breast line because it comes from the midships. And ideally I could tie it to something over there, but I can't. All right, well, signing off from the worst slip in all of Kincardine Harbor and possibly this part of Lake Huron.